Good evening, everyone. My name is Neo6, and welcome to a brand new video where today we're going to be ranking every single Michael Jackson album except for the things that came from MOTOWN, okay? We're not, but first of all, he's my favorite artist of all time, so whenever I do talk about them passionately, there's going to be some choice words I have about some albums on the lower parts of this list. But yeah, let's get on with the video. There's 13 of them, let's get it out of the way. Alright, starting at number 13, we got, oh my goodness, Michael from 2010. This was an album released after the death of Michael Jackson. And before anyone you say anything, that This Is It soundtrack does not count as a fucking album, okay? Alright, I'm just going to put that out there. I might talk about it in a different video because I got so much to say about This Is It. And I'm not including This Is It in my ranking every single Michael Jackson video, which I am definitely doing. It's going to take a long time to write the scripts. I'm not writing the script because, well, I can come up with these on the top of my head. I just can't do that with a video that has so many songs. But anyway, let's start off with the bad things. 3 of the songs are not by Michael Jackson. Even the songs that do feature Michael Jackson are kind of mixed. Like, there's only 3 actually good ones that I actually do care about. But they're not really that amazing. They're just there. They're not great, but they're not bad, and they're pretty decent. All of the songs that do not really make any sense are, of course, the ones that I do not want to talk about. This album just really doesn't have anything going for it. It's just whatever. 4 out of 10. Would listen to it again. Just the album cover also sucks ass. Look at it. It sucks ass. Alright, that's the only one that's downright kind of bad. Now let's go into the mediocre ones. My god. Okay, and number 12, we got Scream. Okay, Scream is a pretty interesting case because there's a lot of good songs, but they're kind of put together very clumsily. And the horror thing kind of loses touch when you have songs like Dirty Diana. And of course, this song does have some horror elements, but I don't really consider it a horror song. Leave Me Alone is good, but I don't understand why it's on this album. And even though this kind of does feel like a playlist, I do consider it more of an album. And the songs that they do include, like Somebody's Watching Me, This Place Hotel, and oh my goodness, Torture, are not going to be in the video where I rank every single song from Michael Jackson. They're just not going to be part of it. If I did, the video would be longer. But there are, like, an addition to it that's actually pretty good, like Dangerous and Blood on the Dance Floor's remix is actually pretty good, unlike some other remixes we'll get to very soon. But for now, this is just a place for the album. It has nothing interesting. The album cover is actually pretty okay. It's a definitely improvement over this one, but this is just whatever kind of like pandering shit that the studio made out of intent of making a Michael Jackson record just to sell money. Like, it's pretty obvious. Next one is number 11 is Thriller 40. I know some people are probably going to get angry. I don't give a fuck. It's a disappointment on every single level. Like, the original Thriller is one of the greatest hip-hop albums, pop albums of all time. I don't know why I said hip-hop albums. Probably think about, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. But, oh god, Thriller 40 just copies and pastes Thriller 25 and then adds a couple of new tracks. Oh, I'm sorry, new remixes. There's only like a couple new songs that were originally released on YouTube. There's only like one new one. It is actually pretty good, not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong, the demos are actually pretty good, but you can tell they're demos and could have been so much potential with a little more, polished. If those were out of the way, I think this could have been a really decent 40th anniversary for one of the best albums of all time. As is, it just feels whatever. And on the subject of that, let's just go to number 10, which is obviously Thriller 25. Now, don't get me wrong, this one's actually a lot better than Thriller 40 because it actually had the involvement of Michael Jackson to a point. Like, it's not just made by the studio, it's actually kind of thought of by Michael Jackson, who wanted to sell more records from the original album. And as is, Thriller 25 has the same problems as Thriller 40. They're just songs that we knew existed. Like, a lot of these demos were really leaked online before 2008. Also, the 20th anniversary should have been in 2007, but they took a while to make some of those new additional tracks, which I don't care for. The original remixes are just whatever. I don't care about the Fergie one. Whatever, I don't care. It's just a whatever thing. But yeah, let's go on to number 10, please. It's just in my fucking suffering. What's number 10 again? Hold on, I actually gotta look at it. Oh wait, number 10 was the 25. What's that, number 9? Oh, okay. Bad 25. Okay. Bad 25 is definitely an improvement on Thriller 25, but it does have some of the same problems. Unfortunately, there's not really any like demo quality songs. Well, the mixing from some of the songs on Bad 25 on the additional discs are actually not really great. They do drag some of them down from a 7 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10. And let's get this out of the way. Bad remixes are just not really good. I mean, they're not as horrible as we'll talk about later, but they are stale and kind of don't mix anything. All the remixes are just whatever. Still, they're pretty much a solid inclusion to the album, and I don't care for the, translation songs of I Just Can't Stop Loving You. It would have been great if they did like a, translation from like any other song, but I Just Can't Stop Loving You, really, this song, it's not bad, it's just whatever. And yeah, this album just really doesn't have anything special until we get to Al Capone and Streetwalker, where it does really exceptionally well, which is really the only reason why I have it above like literally anything else. Still, this could have been to come at a better time. And also on remixes, let's go on. And also on remixes, let's go on to Blood on the Dance Floor, History on the Mix. Blood on the Dance Floor is actually a pretty good song, but the album doesn't really do anything. Like, legit, this is one of the weirdest remixes to ever talk about, because except for Scream Louder and to an extent This Time Around, none of the other remixes are pretty good. I mean, Money Remix is pretty fine, but all the rest are just not good. The beat just doesn't soothe with the vocals at all. They kind of just feel like afterthoughts, which is a shame because Michael Jackson really did pour a lot of heart and soul in the production of a lot of his albums, but it doesn't feel like this in this album in a sense. Also, I just want to put this out here, but the 5 original songs are actually pretty good, but Superfly's Sister does drag it down a lot. It's not bad, but it's forgettable. It's one of the more forgettable Michael Jackson songs, in my opinion. It is scary. It's just Ghost, but with different lyrics. Ghost is actually amazing. Blood on the Dance Floor is awesome, and Morphine is one of the most weirdly underrated songs of all time. Like, no one talks about this song at all, and I think it's pretty good. So yeah, at number 7 we got Off the Wall. Let's keep this short and sweet. Like I said in my review, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough is pretty good. Rock With You is overrated, but it's still a pretty good song. Working Day and Night kind of drags it down a little bit, but not a lot. It's just, whatever. And then we get to 2 of the best songs of all time, Get On The Floor and Off The Wall. And then after She Time in My Life, it just continues on, and it doesn't really do anything like this. So yeah, that's the only reason. Also, everything below Off The Wall is a 6 out of 10, and this is a 7 out of 10. Alright, now let's go to an actually good Michael Jackson, Escape. Literally, this album's only problem is that the original versions don't really add anything. They do kind of slap, like I do occasionally listen to them. Occasionally is in quotes, but yeah, this one could have been a lot better. Escape is pretty good. A Place With No Name is good, but it goes on for way too long for what it's worth. And yeah, a lot of the other songs are just whatever. Chicago is amazing though. And Love Never Felt So Good, the original, and the duet is actually pretty good. So that's all I gotta say about this album. Next up is History, Present, Past, Future Thing, Book 1. This is the greatest hits album, and then there's original content. And people don't like this album for some reason. Like, when it came out, people only praised the great hits side and said, like, absolutely awful things about the original content. And I just gotta say, these people were high if they think this album's not as good as everything else. It is amazing. Like, straight up, is number 5 for a reason. I don't understand why people didn't like them. I mean, it has some of the best songs of all time. Stranger and Mouse Cow is pretty good. Like, it has a lot of good songs. Like, I don't understand. Earth Song is pretty good. You Are Not Alone. Hello? Are these songs non-existent? Kind of like your non-existent penis. Oh. Anyway, this album is good. Definitely would have rated higher, if not for a couple of songs that are lackluster. But yeah, let's move on to number 4. The actually best album from 2000s, Invincible, which is one of the most overhated albums of all time. Like, people hate this album for some reason. I mean, yeah, some of the elements did age a little bit, but I think it's a pretty solid album. I mean, remember, this was worked on from 1998 to 2001. It took 3 years for this album to be made. And it's one of the most expensive albums ever made. And it didn't even make back its budget. It was a commercial failure, honestly. But other than that, this album just keeps going. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It does begin really well, and then it kind of has a little bumps in the road, but fortunately the last song is one of the best Michael Jackson songs of all time. Truly one of the greatest albums of all time. But there's still 3 albums that are even better. And at number 3 we got Bad, the supposed best album by Michael Jackson. And even though it's kind of true, I just find this one kind of lacking in a short comparison to the top 2. And yes, Bad's main problem is Another Part of Me, which is just average. It's not really good, and I skip it all the time. Otherwise, this album would have no skips. A lot of the songs on this album are hard to rank because they're all good on their own levels. I said something about I Just Can't Stop Loving You, but I love the original. It's a beautiful ballad. And Man in the Mirror, oh my god, I can't stop talking about this album. I wish I could make a video on it again, because the review is just so beyond from what I think about it. And then number 2, which I thought was going to be at number 1, but guess what, it's on number 2, Thriller. Man, this album's really good. I can't believe I'm doing an essay on it. I am doing an essay on it in high school. And my god, this is just a really good album to do an essay on. It is one of the best albums of all time. I talk shit about like the anniversaries, but this album has hit after hit after hit after hit after hits. It's so good that 7 of these 9 tracks became singles. Like, wow, oh my goodness. But like, why did he keep releasing them? Well, to make sales, guys. His album has to succeed somehow. Can't wait to do that Thriller essay. Anyway, a lot of songs are pretty good, except for The Gross Mind, which is obviously the weakest song in the entire album. But hey, Paul McCartney doesn't suck, it's just not my favorite. Billie Jean is the best song from the album, hands down. It is so good. But not as good as number 1, which is Dangerous. This album is one of the most underrated and underappreciated albums of all time. It's a mix of jack, swing, hip-hop, R&B, soul, funk, whatever the fuck this time around is. All your favorites. This album does have like some of the weakest songs. Why You Wanna Trip On Me used to be my least favorite Michael Jackson song, but it's slowly started to grow on me over these past couple of weeks. And the weak songs come after Given to Me, with the exception of Keep the Faith and Dangerous. And Dangerous is a good song. But other than that, there's a lot of great songs like Jam, Who Is It, Given to Me, like In the Closet, Remember the Time. Bro, this is a lot of good songs. And I didn't even name all my favorites. This album is just so good, and that's why I think it's at number 1. And I can't wait to do the 2 Michael Jackson videos afterwards. Oh wait, technically, maybe I'll split some of the Michael Jackson songs list later. Other than that, this was fun. Probably going to do, I don't know who I'm going to do next, but this was fun. Can't wait to do another one.